to do your qualified expenses in excess of your scholarship. So this will allow you to max out the credit, and then this is the amount of scholarship income that we're going to put in tax layer as other income so that we can max out this qualified expense. So we'll go into deductions and the credits menu and go to education credits. So this is where both the American Opportunity or Lifetime Learning credits, in this case taxpayer Tina is taking the American Opportunity credit as an undergraduate student. So our qualified expenses coming directly from this spreadsheet are going to be $4,000. That is the maximum expenses they can have, and the spreadsheet will automatically calculate it. This is from Brigham Young University. Okay, so she did receive Form 1098-T for 2019. In 2018, did you receive a 1098-T with both box 2 filled and box 7 checked?
I don't believe so. Would you like me to check?
I would love you to check.
So if I can, I will log into my financial center. So you can tell me if I'm wrong, Lainey, but I will go to other, tax information, 1098-T tuition statement, 2018. Box 2 is not checked, but box 7 is. What does that mean?
So according to the question, both of those items have to be met for it to say no. So you do not have box 2 filled, so both of those items are not met. So we will go back to the return. And so did you receive it with box 2 filled and box 7 checked? No. Okay, so it's asking me for the institution's federal identification number. For a quick review, if you're a BYU student, it is on the board. 870217-280. So generally it will be on the 1098-T though. Okay, and then have you claimed the American Opportunity credit on 4 prior returns?
No.
No, you had not, because you started school in 2017 and were independent that entire time. Okay, were you enrolled at least half-time?
So I was full-time last winter, 2019, but I was only half-time during the fall.
Okay, as long as you are a full-time student during any semester of the year, you're considered full-time for the full year. So you were at least half-time for this year. Okay, and then did you complete the first 4 years of post-secondary education before 2019? No, because you started in 2017.
I started in 2017.
Okay, were you convicted before the end of 2019 of a felony for possession or distribution of a controlled substance?
No.
Okay, so that will qualify her for the refundable portion of the credit. Are you eligible for the refundable portion of the American Opportunity credit?
Yes.
So we'll hit continue. So that puts the $4,000 of qualified expenses, which gives Tina a $1,500 offset of her taxable income and $1,000 refundable credit. So that significantly benefits students.
Wow, thank you so much.
But wait, there's more. So scholarship income we have to include as other income. This generally won't make a big difference in what their tax is. So we're going to...
I have a question, Lainey.
Yes.
Do I keep that form or do you keep that form? The worksheet that you just did?
You will keep this form for your records. In case of audit, you'll be able to determine exactly how you calculated what amounts you would put in qualified expenses and as taxable income so that you can show the IRS that you qualify for the full amount of the credit.
Excellent. Will you print that out for me?
I will print that out for you. We will do that right now. Okay, so for our other income item, we're going to add the scholarship income. Actually, this can also be done under, so if you go to income, less common income, you can do other compensation, scholarships and grants, and so those will be your taxable scholarships. So in this case, Tina is reporting $3,500 as income. And then that's all you have to do with the scholarships and grants. So that will adjust her AGI. Okay, so we've done our wages, we've done our scholarships, and our education credits. So there are no other income or deduction items to look at. So next we go to the health insurance section. So did you purchase health insurance through the marketplace this year?
No.
No. So we'll hit continue and it won't ask any other questions. Had she done it through the marketplace, she would have a form that would tell you exactly what premiums to enter into TaxSlayer. Okay, and then you are an Arizona resident?
I am, although I worked in Utah. What does that mean?
So if you work in Utah, then you would add another state return and you would put it, so we're gonna add Utah, continue, and we're going to select non-resident because you are a resident of Arizona. So any state that you earn income in, you're going to have a return for that state. Okay, so Utah wants to know that her state of residency is Arizona, and then we're not contributing to the election campaign fund. Okay. So after the state return, we have the overview of the 1040, which shows all of Tina's income. That's her income she earned from babysitting, and then that's her adjusted gross income. So then we take the standard deduction. So generally, if taxpayer Tina had tithing that she paid or had medical expenses, it would need to be greater than this standard deduction of $12,200 for it to matter and for us to have to enter it into the system. So Tina, you don't need to itemize because you didn't have those expenses. So her total taxable income ends up being 0. So the next section we're going to go through is all the information that we need to e-file the return. So in this case, since it's a practice return, we're going to select a paper return with direct deposit. When you're in the regular lab, it will generally come up where you can e-file. So we can hit next. We don't have any preparer fees, so you don't need to fill out anything with this form. So for the state of Arizona, we're going to do a paper return with direct deposit, and state of Utah, we'll select the same. So now we're going to need taxpayer Tina's bank account information.
So it says my refund is 0.
So the amount that we're going to pull, we're just going to click pull refund, and it'll take the full amount of the federal return.
I have my bank account information right here. I have Chase Bank.
Perfect. So we're going to need to verify her account information to make sure that the money goes into the proper bank account. Okay, so Tina selected on her form that she did not want to purchase savings bonds, so we can skip that part, and she does not need a third-party designee, so we'll skip there. So here, Tina's going to consent that she recognizes she is responsible for the information on all her return, and she wants to keep her tax documents for at least 3 years, but up to 7 is how long the IRS should audit. So we recommend keeping returns for 7 years. So in the consent section, Tina has to check it herself and has to enter her primary PIN, which will be a 1 and the last 4 of her social. So Tina, if you can check that you consent.
Okay, I'm reading through this and it all looks great. So I will click consent. 1. Last 4 digits of my social. Primary PIN is just today.
Okay, and then if I ever have any questions when I'm finishing a return, here on the board under finishing a return, it tells the preparer exactly what to do and lets me know that the PIN is 1 with the last 4 of your social. So if I ever forget, that's where I can look to find out. So we don't have to put in the state ID information, and so we'll hit save. So it's gonna tell me that I can't e-file, and so that error message is just saying that the transmissions team is gonna e-file for me. So I'll keep going through. So all this information looks correct. And so I'm going to mark that I am ready for review. So then once I've marked ready for review, I can save an exit return, and then my quality review person is going to come and do the same thing I just did and make sure it's all correct.
Thank you,
Here
Lainey.
are all your documents. You'll need to show all of those to your quality reviewer. Parker, can you give us a quality review?
Yes, I can. So, in many cases, the partner will be the one that is doing the quality review in the lab. However, the partner does not have to be the one doing the quality review. Any volunteer is capable of doing a quality review. So, in order to quality review, you will log out of the person's TaxSlayer account and log into your own. So after you click on a review returns, it'll bring you to a page like this where you can select the taxpayer, in this case taxpayer Tina, for review. When you're quality reviewing a turn, it's going to load automatically on the calculation summary page. But to go back, you can simply go to basic information and it'll start you back at the beginning of the turn. So taxpayer Tina, the first thing I'm going to need to see is your social security card and your photo ID.
Thank you,
Thank
Parker.
you. And you are never married, so you're single, correct?
Correct.
I'm going to ask the taxpayer for verbal confirmation of all the things that they listed on their return so that I make sure that they are aware of what is on their return. Taxpayer Tina, date of birth is 1/3/94,
Yes.
and you are a student?
Correct.
Okay. Oh, you are over age 18 and a full-time student at an
Yes.
eligible educational institution. Your address is 1801 West Jefferson Street?
Yes.
Okay. And that is in Phoenix?
Correct. Everything on this document is correct.
Okay, so now on the quality review sheet, we can check and make sure that all of the boxes are filled in. They are all filled in. And I have checked to make sure that the basic information is correct and it matches what is on the social security card. Matching what's on the social security card is very important because if the name is off, for example, if the spouse recently got married, the IRS will reject the return because the names do not match. So make sure that the names match up with what's listed on the social security card. We have done that. And so now we are going to check to make sure the W-2s have been inputted correctly. So you had one W-2?
Correct.
Thank you. I'm going to hit the edit button to enter the W-2 and make sure that all of the information matches up. Especially double check the EIN number on the employer. It's very common to type a 6 instead of a 9 or another one letter error like that, and that'll also cause the IRS to reject the return. Yes, so the EIN is correct. And make sure, so boxes 3 and 5 will autofill. You're gonna wanna double check those on the IRS or the W-2 in case that they autofilled incorrectly. And it will round amounts. So don't be worried if it says $99 here and on the form it says $98.92, that's normal.
Question, Parker.
Yes.
Do you keep the W-2s or do I keep them?
We will keep one copy of the W-2. You can keep all of the other copies.
Excellent. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so W-2 checks out. What was this other source of income?
I babysat for my aunt and uncle, and I earned $600 last year.
Okay, perfect.